Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over that top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you're distracting the referee because the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get bumped to the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Three more. Sometimes you get trapped in a headlock, and you're worried about smearing your lip gloss. You shoot her off and take the shoulder block. Do the leapfrog, give her the hip toss on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. You got the guy in an abdominal stretch, and you grab the rope for extra leverage, and you get a concussion from the angry rush, and you get paid with a diet soft beverage on the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. One more. Sometimes you reach out for that hot tag, and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling and you're better off rolling a thumbtacks. Hey, W, the hardest part of the ring. Hey, the hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, 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 clap. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da. Whoa, yay. What is going on, Bob Squad? What do you say? What do you know? Tip the veal, try the waitress. How's tricks? How's the kids? Some weather we are having. How the heck are you? What are you doing? Schmoozing and working, rubbing elbows, greasing paws, move for shakers, trendsetters, go-getters, gypsies, tramps, and thieves, every last one of you. So nice to thank you for being here. This is episode 198 of The Hardest Part of the Ring. I deleted 197. The audio went in and out, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to leave it up. But I'm counting it as an episode I did. It was about SmackDown from last week. This is about WWE Monday Night Raw, episode 198. Two more to go, and we'll be on 200. So hopefully I can do a SmackDown and another Raw, if I hope so. And that'll be that. Will I do anything special for 200? I guess I should, huh? Oh well. Hot damn! Son of a bitch. It's too WrestleMania is too far away to stretch out episode 200 for either the WrestleMania nights. That's not going to happen. But what is going to happen today on the Hulu edition, not limited of commercial interruption, WWE Monday Night Raw, February 27th, 2023. It's going to be bananas. It's going to be off the hook, off the wall, off the chain, under the table, under the weather, under the radar. There is a siren outside. Someone is injured. They need medical assistance, and that's too bad because they're going to miss the hardest part of the ring, Daddy. They're going to miss the whole kit and caboodle, the whole 9 yards, the whole ball of wax, the whole enchilada. I got notes. I got notes. You like my notes? What happened? What happened on this show? I'm going to tell you what happened. Bob's going to tell you. Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. It's the first thing you saw in this episode. And then John Cena's soothing voice said, "Then, now, forever." And he gave me a feeling in my loins. He did not stop that. Stop it, Bob. Stop it right now. And then Becky and Lita are shown arriving together, which I do not believe. There's no way they travel together. Obviously, Becky travels with Seth Rollins. They have a big bus and a baby. But it is nice for Becky Lynch to finally be a tag team with her cool aunt. And then Sami Zayn is that a package? Is a package. We see a package. We see a long, throbbing, blue-veined package about Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso from SmackDown. Jimmy and Solo. They come out and they say words. Solo doesn't say any words. Jimmy Uso says words into the microphone. And the Street Profits, they say words into the microphone too. They are the guys who are designated to get beat up by the Bloodline while we waste time till something else happens. And the Street Profits did a great job today getting beaten up by the Bloodline. Thoughts on this? No, I have no thoughts. I like both of the Profits individually every week more, but something isn't clicking. I think they were just so goofy from the start that I just can't go back and take them seriously. and now they don't have the cups falling from the sky or whatever the hell. And Montez, I think he'd be better if he were more boring. Does that make any sense? Because he has a way of selling his own offense in a goofy way. He's an over the top. I'm the funny guy. Like I can tell you as a stand up comic, the office funny guys are the least funny people you ever meet in your life. The office funny guys are the guys who ask you if you're working hard but hardly working. The office funny guys are the guys who, when COVID was Corona, they would say, "Corona, oh, do you want a lime with that coronavirus?" They'd be that guy. They'd be the guy that go, "Oh, it's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday. I hope you're having a happy Hump Day. Yesterday was Taco Tuesday. Today's Hump Day. Are you humping? Are you humping? Am I humping? Are we humping? Is he humping? Is she humping? Are they humping? You can't stop humping. Humping, thumping, and bumping. Humping, pumping, and dumping. Y'all can't stop the hump. Oh, shit. It's Hump Day. That motherfucker." And what was my point? That's what Montez Ford is doing. He's being Hump Day guy. It's too much. You're supposed to be trying to win a match at some point. And the Profits, I guess they must not be trusted or anything because they're coming out saying unfunny stuff someone wrote for him and then saying something about smoke. And if you're a bad guy, especially a bad guy who's wrestled them 5 weeks in a row, you should know that right after they say the word smoke, that's when the physical activity would occur because that's when it did. After all this talking, they had 8 seconds of action, went to a commercial break, which is fun. Anyway, the makeshift Usos, Solo and Jimmy, they defeat the Street Profits. I think Solo pins one. Uh, what happens? They're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh, Kevin Owens arrives. Yes, yes. Kevin Owens arrives. Oh, wait, actually, let me go backwards. I'm sorry, Bob Squad. It's a tag team match, and in the middle of the match, because Jimmy Uso has a chin lock on Montez Ford, and I guess that wasn't exciting enough to have on TV. So they did a picture in picture and showed Elimination Chamber highlights of Montez Ford jumping off the top of the chamber chain cage thing during the chin lock, so we never get bored. But I don't know. Wouldn't we want to watch the thing that's happening live? But I don't care. Okay, so they did that. I just thought that was odd. And why do I feel that's a premonition of things to come? Like they're going to start doing this during any kind of, I hate rest hold because it's not a rest hold. You're working the hold. You're not resting, but that's what people call it now. So whatever. But during a hold that's on for more than a second, that this is what they're going to do. They're going to show you some crazy stunt. The Usos win the thing. They're about to smush Montez's head in a chair, and Kevin Owens arrives and he clears house or something. I think he had a chair. I don't know. Anyway, they run away. I'm gonna next. What happens is I take a sip of Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. It has the same great, refreshing taste of regular Wild Cherry Pepsi. None of the sugar, none of the calories. Hold on, Bob Squad. Mm. That is good Diet Wild Cherry. You can go to PepsiCola.com/diet/Wild Cherry right now. Enter promo code Bob Squad. Nothing happens. Waste of time. They'd like me to stop. Target isn't carrying Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. I can't get a good 12 pack of Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero anymore. So now they got Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi, which is fine, but it's not. It's not the Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero that I like. I went to two Targets and a Walmart, and none of them had it. They don't have it anymore. I think I bought it all. I think, remember a year and a half ago, our old friend Pepsi Blue? Remember Pepsi Blue? I won Walmart in San Diego, the racist one, because they only asked the black people to check their receipts. I'm not kidding. Um, they didn't have a problem with Pepsi Blue because your boy bought it all and drank it. And then he discontinued it, hoping I would go away, but I didn't because I was hoping there'd be new He-Man figures. Moving along, the VIP lounge is there. Brock Lesnar is a happy cowboy, and he's here every week now. And he enters first, and he's talking about Omos and MVP. And I guess they're really doing Lesnar and Omos. I thought it was like a red herring. Is it red herring? What the hell? Like a fake pay per view. Like they're telling us there'll be a WrestleMania Omos Lesnar match, but there really won't. It'll be anything else. And I thought there's a dust on my computer. I was hoping that would be the case, and that is not the case. I think they're really going to do it. by George. Anyway, Lesnar eventually buddies up to MVP and tells MVP to sell him on the match, and MVP does. And Lesnar wants to drink to that, and he doesn't like MVP's champagne, so he has a flask in his cut off sleeve denim vest, and he says there's white lightning in it because he's a farm boy. I think it's like moonshine, I guess. Didn't know Saskatchewan, Canada was a big moonshine place, but be that as it may, he drinks some and he sells it. Lesnar, people think Lesnar sells, man. Lesnar sold the moonshine. That was badass. And MVP tried to sell it, but he accidentally spits in Lesnar's face and he gets an F5. Well, how about that? So he spit moonshine on Lesnar's face. And there you go. Kathy Kelly has brown hair. She's talking to Becky and Lita backstage. They both have red hair because they're related. Cody Rhodes is walking, and then we go to a commercial, and Cody Rhodes is continuing to walk, but he walks to the ring, and he wrestles Chad Gable. How about that? And they have a match, and Cody Rhodes defeats him. Okay. At one point, Otis is being distracted by a hot lady, but this time she wasn't on camera. I don't know if he was distracted by nothing. And Cody Rhodes buddies up to him, and Otis got confused. Went on. It was like 5 seconds too long. It was like, I don't think Cody should be doing that kind of stuff right now. I think he should be waiting for the shush guy to say shush and then beat the shit out of him, and so on and so forth. But Cody Rhodes, as they've said several times, they want us to know he will be at SmackDown this Friday, and he'll confront Roman Reigns, who will also be at SmackDown. It's a popular television program. You get to see it on Hulu with limited commercial interruptions every Saturday. How about that? Hulu shows him a day after. So, what happens after that? Oh, Cody's selling his leg. Oh yeah, they do like a big reverse superplex that looks dangerous and scary, and it got a lot of oohs and ahs. So they go to break right away in case we were entertained by the physical part of the match. Cody selling his leg was really great here. I like how he does it. There's a little, it's you can see it, but it's a little more subtle. He'll let's say he took a lot of dragon screw leg whips, so he'll get Chad will go for that belly to back, but Cody will do the rollover, land on his feet, and Cody will he'll sell like a human. Like he doesn't scream and clutch his knee because if you're in a fight, you're trying not to sell it, but you can't help yourself because you're hurt. So he addresses it, like he registers it, and then moves on, and then moves on, and he did. And even later on, he did one of his Cody Cutters things off the rope, but he made sure to only bounce off the rope with one of his feet, which is really difficult too. But just to further sell the leg, and I hope the announcers called that. I don't recall if they did, because Corey Graves has tattoos on his neck, and the other guy was busy saying something Irish. I don't know what it was. I have to go back and put the translator on. Byron, blah, 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 some guy, Byron Saxton, who is not a brunette lady, talks to Baron Corbin. This is the new gimmick. They talk to him for 8 seconds, then cut him off because anything else is happening. Very funny. I'm sure at some point he'll snap and beat someone up over it, but it won't go anywhere. Byron Saxton talks to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens says he's going to get rid of the bloodline. And The Miz has a microphone. And he says he's been married for 9 years. Well, congratulations. And he announces he's going to be the host of WrestleMania. Because they didn't have anything for The Miz. So he's going to be the host of WrestleMania. So WrestleMania is going to have even more talking. Yay. Seth Rollins we're doing stuff with The Miz 3 weeks in a row. He was on The Miz's program 2 weeks earlier. He wrestled The Miz 1 week ago. Listen, I fast forwarded, okay? I couldn't listen to this. Eventually, Seth super kicks Miz and he picks up Miz's phone and he calls Logan Paul, which was really fake because they have this camera shot of just Seth's hand and the ring, and it's being held perfectly still, except for one problem. from that camera shot, the camera person would need to be directly over the shoulder of Seth Rollins. But when we get a wider shot of Seth Rollins, he is the only person in the shot. So that shot would be impossible because unless you have an invisible cameraman working an invisible camera. So that was utter bullshit. But anyway, Logan Paul did some pre-taped thing. You can tell because he talks a second early, and he says, "I guess I'm coming to Raw next week or something." So, I guess you are. Well, congratulations, two first name guy. Yeah, what happened after that? Kathy Kelly still has brown hair. She talks to Damage Control, Bailey, and Team Kai and Sky. And they have multiple colored hair as well. And Austin Theory then talks to Kathy Kelly, who still has brown hair because it's only been a few seconds. And he says John Cena's name a lot and something about hustle, loyalty, respect. I guess John Cena will be on the program next week in Boston, his hometown, according to Austin Theory. So I think they're doing Theory and Cena, blah, 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 WrestleMania, which will be fun, regardless of what they do with it. I mean, I imagine Austin Theory, this is a star making thing where he beats Cena. I really don't know. Bobby Lashley has big muscles and he wrestles Elias, who's also a pretty muscular guy, but for some reason looks like a goof anyway. They got Rick Boogs taking notes in the back every time Elias wrestles now, but Elias always gets his ass kicked with little offense, so I don't know what Rick Boogs is taking notes about. But anyway, Lashley defeats the Hurt Lock, and before we talk about the Funhouse thing, I need more wild cherry Diet Pepsi. Hang on. Bray Wyatt, you've disappointed me. They do this thing. If you remember, during the 2019 when the Fiend was the big popular thing, Bray did this Muscle Man dance video, and I liked it at the time. I liked the 2019 Fiend before they had Goldberg beat him for no reason in Saudi Arabia, and then it all went to shit from there. But this was very lazy because they're using like almost like yeah they're using 3-year-old footage of Bray dancing and just inserting Bobby Lashley in there and Bray's funny logo. So Bray had to do no work for this. And that's probably not his idea. It's not the end of the world either. But it looks like we're doing Fiend and Lashley, or Bray Wyatt and Lashley, whatever. I'm not hearing the audience go so bananas for everything this guy does anymore. Yeah, which is crazy because I think his return in Philadelphia in September or October got the second loudest reaction of the year, second only to Austin at WrestleMania. So what happened? Because it fell off quickly. And I don't want to spend too much time on everything Wyatt's been doing with the Uncle Howdy and yada yada. But the general criticism most people have is it never goes anywhere. We never get an answer. It's one thing to be teased and one thing to have a little mystery. What's he talking about? What is he gonna do? And then you can get teased for so long before you're done. Okay, you want to go. It's like I don't care how hot the stripper is. My balls are still blue. It's time to go home. Time to nut up or shut up, lol. And this was I think the crowd right now I can't. I'm rooting for Lashley right now, just because the audience also figured out like, okay, Bray's being presented as the babyface, except he's cheating and he never wrestles and plays a bunch of mind games. But he's supposed to be the babyface somehow, and I don't know why, except he's doing that stuff that people were not supposed to like. But Lashley never. Last thing, Lashley's turning into Big Show with all the back and forth turns, so he's got a bit of a hat. They're doing that with him. Like Lashley's latest heel turn wasn't a turn. There was no heel turn. He just showed up one day. Now he's cocky again. Like what happened? Well, what happened now is Bray Wyatt and a bunch of puppets. Kathy Kelly still has brown hair. She talks to Paul Heyman. He's kind of gross. And the main event is a women's tag team match. Becky Lynch and her cool aunt, Lita, Wrestle Kai and Sky, Dakota Kai and Ito Sky featuring Bailey at ringside in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Obviously, Becky's going to work the bulk of this match and take the heat and yada yada yada. That's fine. Let me back up. I skipped the entrance because Becky looked really goofy and embarrassing doing Lita's shtick last week, and I felt bad for both of them, and I just so I fast forwarded so I didn't have to know. But they all wrestle. Yeah, this I wasn't into this, and I don't think this got nearly any of the desired reactions from the audience. I know it's a 3 hour show, so the main events are always suffering from that, but there were a few things that just weren't working, and you can tell by the look on Becky's face. She was really, really telling the people when that moment was supposed to matter. Excuse me, and it didn't work. They were both doing a dual 10 punch count on the two of them, and by punch 3 or 4, Alita had to tell the people with her arms like, "Please count with us, for fuck's sake." And there was a thing. Becky it took way too long. Becky gets down on all fours, easy. So Lita can jump off her back and squash one of them in the corner. Except it took way too long for Lita to do the run, and she didn't really jump off Becky's back, and Becky was a bit arched. She didn't really have a flat back. Um, that's a tricky one. A person's got to have a flat back, and you got to go a little closer to the smaller back, so there's not as much give. But it's done is done. It was not pretty. I mean, Lita's obviously she's rusty. She's every right to be. She's in her mid 40s. I mean, I think she has nothing to prove anymore. And she's Lita and Io Sky had yikes, that was some ugly chemistry. That was two different styles and two different generations who never wrestled each other. So that wasn't going to go well, and it didn't. And Io was trying. She was landed on her own head, but I think Lita just wanted to snap mare her. So it was, yeah, yikes. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Eventually, Bailey starts cheating, and Trish Stratus shows up out of nowhere, gives Lita a big hug. She evens the odds. Eventually, does a kick on Bailey, and then which may do a 6 woman tag. I don't know. I don't know what Becky Lynch is doing at WrestleMania. I thought it was going to be Becky and Bailey in some kind of gimmicky match, but they did a cage already. Who the hell knows? But they're going to give Becky something, and I think Bailey's her only opponent really in some form. Do they do the 6 women and just have a make everybody happy, baby faces win real quick thing? I don't know. But the Io Sky misses her moonsault. Alita hits hers, and I was wrong. I was a negative Nancy. I thought Lita's not going to come close, and Lita hit it pretty good. And Becky, of course, has to hit her finish at the same time. So she's kneeling on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. Has her armbar gimmick on Dakota Kai, and 1, 2, 3 on EO from Lita, and Trish runs in a ring. And wow, Becky didn't give Lita and Trish one camera shot to themselves. Holy Jesus. She jumped right on top of the both of them, and that moment was she was making that Becky Lynch and Friends. She was making that, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch thinks she's Jimmy Carter, like building people's houses at 92 years old. Look what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, she wasn't giving Trish and Lita that moment at all. And again, Trish and Lita have had that moment 46 times anyway. But still. So the show ends with the current top star and the legend, the Hall of Famer, with the tag team championships. Obviously, when this happens, it's not going to last forever. Um, I imagine something happens relatively soon, if not at Mania, then before, where something Lita gets shot down and something evil happens to her. She loses. Lita takes the pin, of course, and Becky gets even by beating up Bailey in something at WrestleMania, is my guess. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? But everyone got in a camera shot. I don't know what I missed because I'm watching a Hulu edition, so keep in mind that give me a second. the Miz uh, Seth fake camera shot thing. Uh, no, yeah, it was like talk match, talk match, talk match. That's what this whole program. If you watched on Hulu, so maybe I missed something. I haven't seen a Dana Brooke match in 6 years because I watch on Hulu, and that's usually what happens. No Bianca Belair on the Hulu edition. No Asuka hyping up. Not a mention of their match at WrestleMania. That would be the big omission. But I'm glad episode 197 over the weekend was a big omission. We don't have to replay the terrible audio. I hope this was much better. I thank you, Bob Squad. If your partner misses a moonsault and gets moonsaulted upon, don't lay down on your belly because someone's going to give you an armbar on the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba da ba da. Ba da ba da.